I feel like every mental disorder is unrecognized energy. So, to make it more clear, I wouldn't even really call mental illness a mental illness, right? Illness implies it's like a medicalization of your mind, right? And it's important. I think it was important that we broke the taboo about talking about mental illness. Sorry, my nose is a little stuffy. I think it was important that people talked about mental illness. However, I think it's gone too far, right? We've over medicalized mental health. Instead of diagnosing people, right? Diagnosis doesn't really mean anything if you don't figure out the root cause of things, because many things can cause the same symptom, or vice versa. The same thing can cause many symptoms, which is why getting diagnosed with ADHD, bipolar, depression, anxiety, it's a start, yes, right? It's a start, but I feel like there's been too much emphasis on medicalizing, on prescribing, right? Yeah. It's not that those things don't help necessarily, but they just like with regular medicine, right? With like physical diseases, mental diseases have been medicalized to hell, and that doesn't really help the person, right? But we know this because we have a chronic disease epidemic, especially in America. A chronic disease epidemic, right? Diabetes, obesity, metabolic syndrome, right? We shouldn't. These are diseases. Not these aren't infectious diseases, right? They're diseases of our lives, right? Of our daily habits. Um, this is why, rather than talking about mental illness, I think of it like mental imbalance. That's how I think about it, or mental cacophony, mental discordance. So when it comes to mental diseases, I just feel like it's the way I think about it. The way I think about it is that it's untapped energy, right? For example, with anxiety, it's like you have all this nervous energy, right? But you have no outlet for it, right? You don't. It's not actually productive. Not even productive. It's not useful, right? Nervousness is useful for survival, right? To get out of dangerous situations. But if you're anxious about nothing, right, then it becomes harmful. And I feel like all mental quote unquote disease, right, isn't a disease as a disease. It's just miscalibration, right? You need to recalibrate your body and your mind. That's all that you have to do. Some people have much more severe mental diseases, right, which require harder interventions. But I think for the vast majority, right, maybe 95% of people, the vast majority of people, they just need recalibration, right? They just need an outlet for that energy, right? Because these are normal things, right? Being sad, being nervous, being excited, being angry. These are just regular emotions, right? That's part of being human. The only time it becomes clinical is when it gets out of control, right? When it gets out of hand. So I think I know new research is kind of backing this up too, but to have like outlets, to have, I think by and large, we've gotten rid of a lot of outlets, healthy outlets for grief, for loneliness, for isolation, for worry, for nervousness. We've gotten rid of a lot of outlets, right? So we just kind of bottle it up and we don't have anywhere to put that energy towards. Even depression, right? Even depression, which is characterized by lethargy, right? You feel like you don't have energy, right? I actually characterize it as you're you're expending energy. You're I actually characterize it as energy that's spiraling nowhere, right? If you, because depression, if you were truly exhausted, right, enervated, right, you like, if you metabolically, literally had like no energy, right, that's basically like dying, right? And people who are dying aren't depressed, right? They're dying. I mean, they might be fearful, yes, right? Or they might be at peace. But if you're dying, you don't really get depression because depression's more characterized by malaise, right? I would say it's like the mismatch between mind and body. Depression is like your mind, your mind is wandering, right? But your body feels sluggish, right? It feels slow. Anxiety is the opposite. Your body's like all jittery, right? But your mind is feeling very slow, right? It's slow to catch up. It's just a mismatch between your mind and body. When you integrate your mind and your body, that's when you truly feel present. That's when you're truly alive. So yeah, I think there needs to be like a healthy outlet for people for like if you're, for example, if you're prone to violence, right? Martial arts would definitely help a lot, right? To like control, not just control, but to convert, right? To catalyze those emotions. If you're prone to depression, I would say exercise helps a lot, right? Because your mind is uh, when you're exercising, your mind it doesn't dwell. It doesn't dwell on the past, right? It allows you to dwell in the present, right? Your moving body. So I think, yeah, yeah. I wish I could give you more tips and tricks, but not just tips and tricks, but like life habits. I wish I could give you more, but that's kind of the examples I can come up with right now.